I wanted to share information. That was my original thing. I moved to Brazil and I had never been to Latin America. I had never been to Brazil, to Southern America. I didn't know anything about the place where I was currently in. So everything was an experience for me. I went for lunch. That was an experience. I didn't know how the people eat lunch, and the restaurants are completely different than what we have here in Finland or in Europe even. The language, I didn't speak the language. Everything was completely new. So I started sharing this. I started sharing how it felt like to be there and what was the safety situation, how the people communicate with each other, what is the culture like, the foods. It wasn't, the idea was not to influence anyone to do anything. And I still like to think of myself as not a journalist, but like a influencer that shares information in a very journalistic way, that I go somewhere and I share what it's like instead of giving tips on go to this cafe, which is also a wonderful thing to share tips for people. But my preferable way of sharing content is to share information. And while I was doing this, I think I showed a part of myself that people wanted to see. They were interested in my way of reacting to these things and my way of finding myself in very interesting situations because I talked to people so much. And it was actually originally an idea of a follower to go on a trip with me and my friend who's also working in the industry and who's also sharing a lot of content. And our followers said, we want to go on a trip with you. Like, you always end up in the weirdest places. And how do you find these people? And how do you go here? And how did you find this hotel? I want to go to that hotel too. And then we said, like, okay, we'll see if we can make this work. And obviously, because we are from Finland, both of our companies are Finnish. Finland has really high standards of all of the legislation and the rules and everything. So we really needed to start thinking, like, how are we going to do this so that it's correct and it goes the right way? And a small idea became quite big. Now we've organized 3 trips so far to Sri Lanka and 2 to South Africa. And then this fall in October, we are going to Peru, and November, Kenya and Egypt. So a small idea, just one comment online became quite a big thing. And to be honest, it's one of my favorite things that I get to do right now, because I get to meet the people that are behind the screen and that are looking at my posts and sending me messages, and suddenly they are with me experiencing the beautiful cultures of countries